Good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to hop on here really quick and talk about my scan results. I got the scans done almost 2 weeks ago now, but it's been a little bit difficult trying to get the scan results because right now I am not living at home. My scans have had to be done somewhere else, and because of that, the results are a little bit difficult to interpret because they can't really look back on the prior images in order to compare if it's gotten worse or better. They can only comment on what it looks like right now. Basically, I have to go with the actual report. I was able to see a few images of some of the lesions, but I can't really look through it like I normally do, and I can't share the results like how I usually do with you guys. Before I go into the results, I just want to preface by saying that I have a lot of pain, and mostly the pain right now is in my right side, around my rib cage, like the whole right side rib cage area, along with my mid back around the thoracic spine area or so. And I am getting a lot of pins and needles and numbness, and it's hard to sleep because a lot of times I'll wake up in the middle of the night with a lot of pain. I can't really lay on my right side because laying on it hurts. And lately it's been hard to lay on the left side because the bottom of my rib cage is also hurting. So when I twist the other side, it's pretty bothersome. The pain is certainly concerning, but the results were actually not as bad as I expected. So with all of the recent stress that I've been going through and me just completely coming off of my holistic regimen that I worked so hard to build for myself when I was living at home, all of that kind of just went out the window since the end of May. So it's been a couple months now that I've kind of just been not able to really do much. I have been taking my supplements here and there. It's definitely not consistent. And diet-wise, mostly I've just been eating steaks and I've been eating a salad daily, but I have had times where I've eaten out and things like that. But I have really kept that at a minimum, so my diet is not horrible. I'm not really eating organic all of the time. It's just whatever I can get. I'm just trying to get through what I can get through. So I was really expecting bad results. I mean, really bad. And I was really worried that I was going to have to get some type of treatment or surgery. And right now is not really the time because I don't have the opportunity to do that right now. I just unfortunately have to put my health on hold to take care of everything else that is going on. So the good thing is that cancer really hasn't been on my mind, and it's kind of nice to not have to think about the cancer all of the time and to have other things to worry about. So that's the good side of things. And of course, the bad side of things is that I am still worried that there may be progression or something that will happen that is going to be irreversible, that is going to cause more damage if I continue to let it go. So with that being said, after I dug up the scan results and tried to compare them to the previous ones that I got back in April. So I had my last PET scan and MRIs back in April, the routine scans. And then I had my last MRI of the thoracic spine in May because it was supposed to be 6 weeks to check on that T3 level that was affecting the epidural space. My oncologist said that if that area grew, that we would have to radiate it or do something more urgently because of the location that it's in. So that was the one that was the most worrisome. And I have other areas like my right third rib that was pretty large. It was about 3 centimeters in size, and that one has been there for a couple of years and just very slowly growing. And that's the last one that I have that's pretty big after they did the craniotomy and removed the one in my skull base and the one in my C2 area. So aside from those plus the femurs, I really just have the right rib one that is pretty big. That one has been hurting a lot. I mean, that's why my whole right side of my rib cage hurts, I feel like. but it's also been hurting in other areas as well. And so my last scan in April showed that I also had a new area in my right 10th rib that kind of showed like a 1.2 centimeter nodule in the lung, but they weren't sure that it was a nodule or if it was part of the rib, part of the lesion in the rib, because there was a little bit of an extension from the right 10th rib. That is still present on this current scan. It's still 1.2 centimeters. And again, I still don't know if it's actually in my lung or if it's part of the right 10th rib extension. And it did say that there's a soft tissue extension from that area as well. They didn't really record the size of it, so I don't really know if it has grown. I'm guessing it has maybe a little bit just because of the pain that I feel. And then they also mentioned that there's a right 12th rib lesion that is also there, which I don't really know if it was there last time. I'm guessing it was because my type of cancer, everything kind of just grows very slowly. So most of the time when they mention that there's something new, it's not really new. It's just kind of an extension from what the old scan showed, but they just don't really report everything because I have so much tumor mass in my body. So it's hard for them to pinpoint every single thing. So the scans actually showed that it was pretty stable in terms of the sizes of the lesions and the SUV uptake, which is the activity of the tumor based off of the glucose that they inject to do the PET scan. So it's actually overall pretty stable. There were a few areas of enhancement in the skull, which I also don't know if they're new or not, and I'm waiting to hear back from my neurosurgeon to see if they can comment on the brain and make sure that everything is okay, that it's still stable from the previous craniotomy that I had. So there are a few things that I'm kind of just wondering if they're new or if they've gotten worse. But overall, I mean, it was actually pretty stable. So I was kind of shocked because I thought that it was going to be much worse than that I was going to have to get emergency radiation or some sort of treatment, changes in my treatment. Oh, and I forgot to mention that that T3 area, the epidural lesion, is also stable. But with the symptoms that I'm having, I do feel like we may have to radiate it or do something. Once things settle down a bit, then I can pursue some treatment. For now, my oncologist is adding back one of the immunotherapy drugs that I was on. I was on a combination before of the Yervoy and Optivo. With potential progression, we decided to just add back the Yervoy for now. So I'm going to get the combination infusions again for another 4 infusions, and then after that go to the single. He did also mention adding back that TKI, the tyrosine kinase inhibitor, which is like an oral chemotherapy drug that I have talked about in my previous videos. And that's the one that I really, really do not want to go back on because of the side effects that it causes and the quality of life. And it's just, I don't like that one. Typically, I will go on it and then it'll work for some time, but it never really fully shrinks the tumors, and then it's impossible to get off of because once I get off of it, it causes rebound growth. And usually it's just something that you have to stay on until it stops working. So I don't think it's a good long-term solution. And I do plan on going back to everything that I was doing before in order to try to stabilize and to heal. And I'm pretty confident about that. It's just a matter of time. And like I said, I'm just going through a lot right now. So my focus is not on my health, even though I know that it should be. And I am trying. But overall, I do feel okay that the scans were not terrible, that I don't really need to do anything drastic right now, that I can add back the Yervoy and continue to work on my diet and continue to add back things that I was doing before. I have been taking the mebendazole. That's like the one medication that I have been on pretty consistently. I take it with the cimetidine. I saw one of the videos of this guy that had osteosarcoma, and he was taking mebendazole with cimetidine 3 times a day, I believe, and his cancer went away, and he wasn't even really doing any other supplements or dietary things. So I thought that that was pretty amazing. The cimetidine will increase the absorption of mebendazole, and it also has anti-cancer properties, and it's a repurposed drug. So I figured that I would just add those two together, and I take it twice a day. And then I also take a baby aspirin. I also take sometimes I will take meloxicam for pain. It's an NSAID, so those are also repurposed for cancer as well. And then what else do I take? Yes, I still take my supplements like vitamin D and magnesium, boswellia, my fish oil. I take melatonin. I'm forgetting a whole bunch, like green tea extract. I'm probably forgetting a whole bunch, but I'm taking supplements like that, and then I'm also taking propranolol, which is kind of blocks blood vessel growth, and it's really good for my type of sarcoma. So basically, I'm taking all of those medications very inconsistently, supplements very inconsistently, and overall my scans are pretty okay. So yes, I just wanted to post a really quick update because my birthday weekend is this week and I will be turning 39. I can't believe I'm going to be 40 soon. It feels so surreal to be this old, but I don't feel old. I feel very good because I know that every year that I survive is a year that God has blessed me with. And I think having cancer just really gives you a different perspective on aging, because aging just isn't so bad anymore. It's not like you feel like you're getting older. It just feels like, wow, I get to live a whole nother year. I get to wake up to another day, and God has given me another day on this planet. So I know that no matter how challenging these times are, and no matter how challenging 2024 will be for me in my life, I do feel like it's a rebirth and a new beginning, a fresh beginning, because when one door closes, another one opens. And I know that if God put me here, He will see me through, and He's going to continue to guide me through this. The promises that He's made for me will come to fruition. I am going to heal. I know I will. I know that I'm meant to heal from this cancer and to continue living and live out my purpose to inspire other people. I really, truly feel that in my heart, and I am not giving up. I am continuing to surrender and trust, and I know that it's so hard sometimes, and I do have many days of just being super low and depressed and seeing my circumstances for what they really are, because when reality hits, it's not pretty. But then I'll have moments where I see God, I feel Him, I see the roles that He's playing in my life, I see how He's helping me through, and that's just what keeps me going every single day. And my children, I have my children, and they are everything. And my biggest purpose right now is to take care of them to the best of my ability, to shield them from harm, to keep them safe, to love on them, and to just give them everything that I have in my heart. And I think it's so important that even if life is not good, and even if you are dealt a bad hand in life, it's important to keep that childlike wonder. It's so easy to get jaded when things are going wrong. It's really easy to close ourselves off, to go into that box and to protect ourselves from further harm. And I know that I'm so guarded right now, but at the same time, I am reminded that it is okay to continue to open myself up and to live a life full of compassion and to love others, even if they have wronged you, and to let go of resentment and bitterness. All of these things that you hang on to, even your thoughts, even having bad thoughts of someone. So I'm really working on that, and I'm really working on forgiveness and letting go of resentment. And I'm just trying to do good, do the right thing, do good, and to keep my mind from spiraling, from thinking of all these negative thoughts. So I'm going back to that. I'm going back to just trying to calm my mind, because there's been a lot of anxiety and my mind is just going a million miles an hour. I had a lot of breakdowns, little mini breakdowns, major breakdowns, mentally, physically, everything. So I've been through it, and I know that I'm gonna keep going through it, and it's not gonna be over anytime soon. But I know that God is on my side. I know that He's here, He's protecting me, and I feel His presence every single day. And the closeness that I feel to Him is really what I'm striving for anyway. And that's really the main goal of mine in this life, is to have that relationship with God and to continue to do good for others and impact others in a positive way. So anyway, I am done with my ramble. I like to ramble. And I also just wanted to say a word to Dr. Dan Says. I don't know if you guys know him or watch his YouTube channel, but he passed away a couple of days ago and his brother updated. And I was just so incredibly sad to see that, because if you know him, you saw his videos. He had cancer for a few years now, and he really showed me how it was to deal with the end of life so gracefully. And he had this like realistic outlook on his diagnosis and the prognosis, but at the same time, he never really gave up. But in the end, he knew when it was his time to go, and he seemed so peaceful. And the way that he left this earth and the way that he impacted people who watch his channel, that was really, really inspiring for me. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Dr. Dan and how much he has impacted me. And I hope that he is in heaven now, in peace, with no more pain. If I were ever to die from the cancer, that's how I would want my last days to go. All right, y'all. Thank you for listening. I will see you next time. Okay, bye.